Hey guys, and welcome to another spring season tournament stream. This time we are in the first round of the professionals tournament, the round robins day 1. And this stream is for Asia. Now, to get this out of the way straight away, even though I know I will get lots of questions about it anyway, yes, you can get coins through this stream, and you have to watch it through the portal, not through YouTube if you want that. So I will be sure to be spamming the link on the chats, and I'm pretty sure that Lopani will be doing that as well. And then you can receive coins for watching this thing. So I'm just gonna... Coins found here. And then if you watch through that, you can get coins. At least if you're on the Asia server. So basically today we're gonna be watching Feast, and Feast is gonna battle against, I can't remember this by head anytime, versus NUB boys and versus X-Range. So that should be fun. We haven't seen those yet in the preliminaries, well, the qualifiers called in this tournament. But yeah, it should definitely be fun. And basically just... I can't wait to see the battles. I can't wait to see what they do. I'm gonna remove the preview so that you can see my lovely tier 1 tank on my Asia account. Basically not much else on this account because I don't play it. I'm gonna take you to the tournaments thingy. The room should be up in a few minutes. I just need to make sure that I go live on YouTube before then. But we still have 110 seconds left before I can do that. And everything I say you will hear in 5 minutes. Because there's a 5-minute delay on this stream. And I just noticed that I have the wrong wraparound. So I'm gonna fix that. There we go. And then we're all set for this stream. So we are in the chart. And tonight, like I said, we're gonna go up against NUB. And up against XR. And we are going to be meeting them on, this is like, I would love it if they did this the other way around. Middleburg, Vineyards, Dynasty Spurl, and Castilla, Main Ruins, and Port Bay. Middleburg is always a very interesting map to see because in randoms you would definitely want to just have the hill because it's a lot easier to keep the hill than it is to take the hill. At the same time, there are 2 supremacy bases in the town, which means that you should be going down because you want to, dominate at least 2 bases. So that makes for very interesting tactics, and I'm eager to see what Asia will do in this case. And I say Asia because there's multiple clans that will be doing this, only this is unfortunately the only one that I'll be streaming. As in, I can't be streaming 3 matches at the same time. I would love that, to be honest. Well, 4 technically, but yeah, I would love that. But that is not something that I'll be able to do because I can't split myself in a lot of different parts. I got a crate. Let's see how many poopsters I get this time. I got an avatar. Well, that's amazing. Still, it's free stuff, so I shouldn't complain. But I just always find it quite funny. So now I'm just waiting for YouTube to start in a minute or so. The room will be up, so I'm gonna look for that as well. And always, that's why I pretty much start early. I don't want to be in the room already and then still have to do YouTube things. I just want it to be launched and just going so that I don't have to worry about that. Now, I do have some pretty nice replays lined up for you in between the battles, at least as in between the matchups, I should say, because there's always a bit of time between one and the other. And I don't want to play definitely not on Asia server because that would be like completely horrible, and basically I can't play PC to save my life, so let's just avoid doing that. I'm gonna just resize the screen with the stream a little bit so that I can just read the chat, because I always like to keep track a little bit if I can. At least I would if it would actually show up. There we go. And officially I am live now, according to YouTube. I have a room, so let's go there. And ready up before I forget so that I can't miss a match. Basically, this is the part of the tournament that I like the most myself, and that has everything to do with the fact that there's a little less pressure because it's all about amassing points. So you have like 7 matches lined up during this stage twice, so that will be 14. And only at the last bit do you have the pressure of I need to get X amount of points in order to go through to the next stage. But until you get that, it's a little bit more relaxed. You can afford to have a bad day in this stage. And that's something that I really like. Because I think that gives more honest and less stressed gameplay to follow. So, like I said before, for Asia I'll be following Feast. For EU I'm following R2K. And for NA I'm following Premo. Now, the NA streams are few and far between, basically only on Saturday nights, save for final stages. And that has everything to do with the fact that NA events start for me at 3 AM. So I basically want to avoid doing that often. I am gonna, again, give you the link for Asia coins. But keep in mind that you can only get Asia coins on the Asia server. And only NA coins on the NA server, and only EU coins on the EU server, etc, etc, etc. Now, for some reason, the YouTube is giving me a loading thingy. There we go. And we have 2 minutes left before we actually go into battle, so I'm just going to focus on the lineup right now. We have on Feast side, we have an AMX50B, we have a 140, potentially 2 IS4s, a 268, a mouse, and another AMX50B. And on NUB side, we see a 268, 4 IS4s, a mouse, and a 140. And I think that this will mean that both teams will pretty much stay downtown. As I said, Middleburg is a very interesting map because of the way that it's set up. And it is not an easy thing, not an easy map to dominate, I think. I'm gonna see if I have it here yet. I do not have a map yet, but I'll fix that for tonight. And I think everybody knows Middleburg is one of the oldest maps around. In the meantime, I see a giant Feast fan in the chat. And there's of course a reason that I chose to follow Feast, even though statistically they might not be the utmost best team. I really admire their teamwork and the way they play together. And they're basically the embodiment of one team will always win from 7 players. So I'm a big fan of that. And that's why I really want to follow them. So basically the lineup is now complete. Feast did go for that second IS4. And we are just 45 seconds away from entering the first battle. And I can't wait. Hope you guys can't wait either. I hope that they're not going to be playing around a little much. I like that they did get a fast TD. You know that in this map you always have to get at least 1 medium, and that has everything to do with the spawning. Because someone will always spawn at the top, and you don't want to be a mouse spawning there. But if you have a medium, that medium will always spawn up, and every other heavy can spawn near the town. So I think that is why both teams have chosen to take 1 medium with them. And of course, you like the mobility and basically the flanking abilities and all of that, which for me is a reason as well to take a medium in any tournament battle that I do. At least I prefer to dominate with mediums, so I prefer to take more than that. But in this case, this map is special. Look at all the pro avatars. Except for Huff, he's a dice. I like that. So I think we're gonna see a battle in the city, and it will be interesting to see how that will go. Of course, I could be completely wrong because it looks like the AMXs are going up top. We have a mouse that is gonna go to base B together with an IS4, and pretty much a NUB is doing the same thing. We have an IS4 and another IS4 in base A, and the rest is going up. But the 140 is waiting. And I think the Huff is going to be in a bit of trouble once he realizes almost all the enemy team is up there. And I hope he's going to go and for a spotty to see them, so that he knows that. We see that the rest of Feast is arriving in the hill. We have lots of spots going on. And now the other IS4s are also going up top. We have the mouse that is staying down below. Together with the IS4, they're sort of flanking around. But we're gonna see some fireworks up here, I think. And I like that this map is actually so high that it's hard to get a proper overview because I can't go any higher than this. Basically now NUB is stealing base A. We see some fire going on. But I think, oh, he's not getting away with it. It looked like it for a little bit there. We have the first damage being done, but it's not all that much. And the IS4 is staying where he is, and he might just be able to cap base B after all. We see a big shot in going into Frost there, and the mouse is pushing. And I think that's a very aggressive push. I'm not sure that's a really good call. We have the 268 that is in the meantime capping base A. And the mouse is going on through the town, probably going up into the hill as well. We see some fireworks going on, AMX getting shot, AMX has one more shot left, the mouse is definitely being targeted. We have the 268 that's coming up, trying to get up the back, but he's meeting a mouse and an IS4. Basically now Feast has the point advantage because they have the bases, and it will be up to NUB to make a push because they kind of have to, because they're sort of like clustered into the hills now. And I think that is actually brilliant gameplay by Feast. And to just lure them here, basically. They're holding. They don't need to do much. They just need to survive. And we have the mouse that is, the 268 that is covering the mouse and the IS4 here from the city. Just trying to draw them out, seeing if they can get some shots in. We see some nice shots going into the 268 there. We have the 140 that is trying to get a side view of the mouse so that he can shoot them. The mouse is in a bit of a trouble there. And the AMX... There we see Feast losing quite a bit of HP. The mouse is, the Object 140 is making a move now. And it will be interesting to see what they do, because they already have 800 points. So Feast just has to survive. They can do anything they want, they just need to survive. And it's up to NUB to make the push. And the mouse is gonna die, but I think they will be alright. Because they still have the two bases. The mouse is still alive, but that's not gonna last for long. He manages another few bounces. Ooh, that was a big hit in the 268 over there. We see the AMX taking massive damage. One of them is already dead. We have the Object 268 that is nearly dead as well. There goes the mouse. But it's already 890 points. As long as they survive, and they just have to be careful. They're making the points. They just need 40 points more, and then the game is for Feast. But now... we see the 140 that is going after the 268. Capping base A is not going to help you enough anymore. You need to make the kills if you want to save this. No one is driving into base B, and that means that this first game is Feast. And what a game it was. That could have gone either which way. Awesome. Oh, very well held by Feast. Lovely to see. And the one with the non-pro avatar actually did the most damage and got the most XP. Just saying. So that was the first battle. We have another one on Middleburg left to go. We see similar lineups appearing. NUB hasn't changed his lineup at all. And we see on Feast side, we now see 4 IS4s and E3. An Object 140 and a T63. So a little bit more mobility. I think they're hoping that they might go hill again. But I'm not sure if Feast will be going hill. They might just be holding the city instead. This worked out really well though. And I think that's everything to do with those 2 IS4s that kept base A for NUB and then went up the hill after all. So that's gonna be just awesome. I'm loving this. This is a map we haven't seen all that much in tournament. I think it's because it's fairly small and it's not one of the best maps around. It's been long for ages, and so most people know how to play it and where to go and everything. But it's different in tournaments when you have a full team. And I'm actually, like, I expected them to be in town, but they actually all went hill. But yeah, it worked out for Feast for sure. And I think, like I said, that's to do with those 2 IS4s that went hill after instead of going into the town, because that 268 surviving and staying at the back there, and that mouse holding literally on the side of the hill made all the difference. So now we have 7 seconds left to go before we enter another battle, and then we're gonna see what happens next. It is best of 5 now, so also in that aspect I feel that these rounds are more fair. It will be cool to see what happens, what they do. We see a lot of blue camos here. There's my destroyed tier 1. And here we go, up and away. See, I have much more overview here in the city than I do on the hill. We have the 140 that is pushing towards base C. He is definitely gonna meet the T62A and potentially more. Now we have NUB that is definitely focusing on the town, whereas Feast is sort of spread up. I think that they're waiting to see what NUB is doing before they make a definite decision on where to commit. Basically now Feast will have the point advantage again because of the base advantage, but we do see a mouse and 2 IS4s going up the hill. Pushing a mouse up the hill is a bit tricky, I think, because it takes a very long time to get there, but it does mean that Feast has the upper hand right now. The Mets have to be careful. They're gonna know that there are gonna be more tanks here, and I think this is a very good repositioning because they can potentially crossfire and just see who's coming. They don't see the mouse yet, but they know that there's someone else there, so that there's likely more people there. And Feast is taking up defensive positions around the hill. Basically, on the hill. They don't need to do much else but to hold. So as long as NUB doesn't manage to get base C, they should be fine. At the same time, now, NUB has left 2 IS4s to defend base B, and I think that's a very good call, because you don't want them to get that. And we have an IS4 here that can't really... they can't really do much. They can't really cap, because then they get shot to hell. We have the pretty much aggressive mouse again, but he is in a better position now, in a better holding position. We have shots going into the IS4. We have the T6A reloading faster to get some more damage in. And a little bit of HP is lost by NUB, and they can't get base C. But it did take quite a bit out of the IS4 there. And it will be interesting to see what NUB will do now, because this will be very tricky for them. We have the IS4 that is pushing up on the hill. Basically all of NUB is now going to the hills. We see some fireworks going on now. And they're in similar positions that Feast was before, but Feast still has someone in town. And that's going to be interesting to see. The Object 140 has to be very careful there, because you don't want to be shot by that 268. The point advantage is now in NUB's favor. Ooh, that was a big hit into the 268. And that was a big hit into the IS4. And I think this IS4 Bifrost should have pretty much gone to B instead of doing this, because he might basically lose his, well, digital life for it. The E3 is now getting hammered. We have fireworks going all around. It will be interesting to see which IS4 of these will die first, because they're in tricky position, but I'm pretty sure it will be Kutuzov that will not survive this. And that means that NUB is gone down, but now all of NUB is pushing up on the hill, and that will be very tricky because Feast is more spread out, and they need to play defensively. They need to focus fire. They need to keep their guns, and they just lost 3, and now this game is very likely to be NUB's, because they don't really have much of a choice. They have the base advantage, they have the point advantage. People are dying left and right, and this IS4 is not going to survive. At the same time, we have the Object 140 and the E3 that are left down below, and they won't be able to do it in time, because now we've hit 1k points and the game is NUB's. So now it's 1-1. I like that, seeing that NUB actually watched what Feast did last match, and they learned from that. At the same time, Feast was playing it differently as well, and that meant they were just too spread out and it didn't work out for them. So now we are moving to Vineyards, and Vineyards is one of my favorite maps. It always has been, and it probably always will be. It's one of the more fun maps in my opinion. And Vineyards, I do have a map for that. I'm going to show you that real quick. We have base A that is on the south spawn, base B that is more for the north spawn, C in the city. It is not the easiest map to drive, but if you play it cleverly, you can really dominate 2 bases. And I always like going to A myself, or to B depending on where I spawn, and then pushing for the other one. C, I think, is a bit far removed, and it can be very tricky to hold that and to at the same time support the rest of your team. I am removing the map to make sure that it will not be in the way. I am readying up because I want to actually enter the battle. And now we just have to wait until we go into the game. And in 30 seconds we're gonna go see. We have Feast that has 4 IS4s, a Batchat, a 140 and an E3. And on Noob side we see 2 mice, 3 IS4s, an E3 and a 140. So that is a tiny bit of speed with a lot of armor and a lot of armor. And on Feast side we have just way more mobility. Pretty much, well, not necessarily fast team, but definitely more mobile. So it will be fun to see where they were going and what they will do. So here we go. I like this. This is like the standard thing to say in the beginning of the battle. I remember that last year with the Twister Cup, RTK would always say, please win at the beginning of the battle, and that was quite fun. We see Feast that is focusing on the city with the Batchat going to base A. I like and dislike the fact that nowadays you have 2 positions to cap in both A and B, where you can cap the base without getting spotted and without basically hurting. We have the Batchat that is being quite aggressive in the way that it's positioned, but it doesn't really spot anyone. They did cap the base a bit faster though, so they will have a slight point advantage, if not that much. We have a bunch of IS4s and a mouse and an E3 going into the town, but none of them is really pushing for C yet, but I think that Calcifer might be going for it. We have the mouse that is staying in the hills, well, in the ruins over there. We see some first shots being taken, but no damage being done yet. And we have Calcifer now moving in together with the mouse. And it will be hard for Feast to decap this, but they kind of have to if they want to keep a point advantage. We see a shot going into the tracks there, but no damage. And now Noob just needs to hold. They didn't lose any HP getting that base. And now it will be extra difficult for Feast to make a push and do something about that. Because they kind of probably want to get base B. We have the Batchat that is going around. We see the first shot being taken into the 140, and ooh, that was pretty big damage into the IS4. We're just gonna look around, see what's happening. You have the Batchat going in the middle. I think they don't know that there's a mouse there, and that might not pay off well for them. Now the mouse has been spotted, and he did fire into the Batchat. And the Batchat is going down again, because now there's IS4s and everything. You don't want to get shot by them. But that makes it Feast's job all the harder, because they need to make a push for that base. They need to take out that mouse. And Sleeping Lion is paying very dearly for going there. This is really not looking good for Feast, because Noob is holding like a pro. And that is absolutely awesome to see. Now they are trying to cap, but they're not really getting away with it. We have Sugu Umugu that has been shot quite badly. There's now 4k HP difference between the two teams. Noob has a very comfortable position. They don't need to be aggressive, they don't need to make a push, whereas Feast has to make a move, and they have to make it fast. They have to get all 3 bases now to make this work. And at the same time, they have to decap. They have to make sure that basically Noob doesn't get any points. But this is not looking well, because it's costing them a lot. We have the IS4s now pushing the mouse. The mouse is hard to hit. Feast is losing a ton of HP, and there are likely to be deaths now. There we go, second gun gone from Feast. There goes the first gun from Noob Boys, but they were already at 915 points. They need to keep the base, they need to make sure that they get those bases, but they need to get both, and that's not happening. And now we're at 975 points. And this is not going to go well for Feast. They are not going to win this one, and it's just... oof. There we go, 1k points. 4 very low HP tanks left for Feast. And I request that the people that are watching do not post spoilers, because that is absolutely not needed and it ruins it for everyone else. So don't do that. So now we have, it's 2-1 for NUB. And in 1.5 minutes, we're going to go back to Vineyards to see what happens next. At the same time, like I said, you can afford to have a maybe not so good day in this stage. But at the same time, that does make the pressure later higher and higher. And I actually like to see how pretty much adaptable NUB shows themselves to be. They've been holding a lot. And they've been holding very effectively. Especially this last match. The way that they just waited for Feast to make the move to push into a position. And every time one of Feast did that, they got absolutely punished for it. So we now see that Feast is now carrying 2 mice, 2 IS-4s, 2 Batchats and a 268. So that's an interesting matchup of speed and armor. It will be fun to see what they do, but I think they're definitely going to go for base C. And on the other side we see 3 IS-4s, 2 IS-7s, a 140 and a 268. So that's still a lot of troll armor, but a little bit less than a mouse. So in 15 seconds we will go again, and then we will see. I love games like this where you see that tactics are being played and it's played very cleverly. So here we go. I dislike that they removed the dusk theme from this map. It was so much more fun when it was a little bit darker. It just looked so much more pretty. So now we have the Batchats that are gonna go to base B. Not surprised there. And we have the rest of NUB that is actually going to base A and more towards the middle. They don't seem to be focusing on the C side. I think they've seen those mice and they were like, yeah, you can have that. And this means that again Feast will have a bit of a point advantage. We see some blind shots being taken into base B. We have a very aggressive push here by the IS-7 together with 2 IS-4s. And they've still not been spotted yet. There we go, now they have been spotted and they will be like, what? We see the mouse that are holding at the city. We have the Batchats that are pulling away. But basically NUB's move has been shown now, and I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get base B, because base B is out in the open and can get shot from a lot of different angles. We have the mouse that are holding in the city. We see a big shot going into one of them there now though, and I think we're going to see a nice cap from base C by another Batchat. Basically NUB is making a very aggressive push. They might even try to grab base B now, but I'm not sure they're going to be able to get away with it, because there's not really a position where they can hold, where they can't get shot from at in base B. Now the point advantage is in Feast's advantage, and they are trying to get base B. That is very clever, and I wonder if they're going to be able to do it, because if they do, then Feast is in definitely a lot of problems. We see a shot going in but missing, and this NUB managed to grab base B. That is very, very clever. And now the pressure will be on Feast again. And if NUB wins this, they win this round. And that means that the point goes to NUB instead of Feast. So we have the Batchat that's going around. But we have the 140 here that is protecting the 268. Or at least in a position to very quickly protect the 268. 268 has not been spotted. The 140 has. We do see some shots going on, but basically Feast is in a lot of trouble now. We have the Batchat that is going there, and he's just narrowly avoiding getting shot by 268. That has been spotted now. But the mouse does take a big hit there, but so does the 268. We have the 140 that is pulling up to remedy that. But now we have 2 Batchats. One of them is half reloaded into a clip, and one has a full clip that can basically clip that 140 together, and they will really need to grab that base. Especially now that the 140 is not going to survive for long. I'm just going to show you that. Both they're focusing on the 268. I think that's a very good call. There goes the 268. They're crapping base A and base B. And this is not looking good for NUB now. Because if they manage to do this, that was a nice ram kill. If they manage to do this, then everything can happen again. Now they are crapping base A. They didn't crap base B. 268 is in a lot of trouble now. Feast did lose 3 guns, whereas NUB only lost 2. But we have a mouse. We know that the 268 is not going to survive for much longer. But that is a big hit into the back of the IS-7. There goes the IS-7. It's 3 versus 4. And now the mouse is in a lot of trouble. He needs to play it carefully. And NUB has already at 925 points. They need to keep them from getting points. And they need to focus fire very well if they want to do this. We have a Batchat that is protecting a mouse instead of the other way around, as what we usually see happen. And he is pulling away to avoid, but the mouse is barely alive. He might be able to do it, but oh my god, this is intense. The mouse is pulling back now, but I'm not sure if he's gonna survive that. The Batchats are reloading or reloaded. And they need to drive into that base. They need to make the kills if they want this to work. That IS-4 Lolicon needs to die if they want to win this. The mouse dies, and now the game is NUB's. Wow. Sad for that last comment. That wasn't needed. It wasn't respectful. But that was cool. That was cool to watch. I think the turning point was NUB managing to grab base B like that. For sure. So that is the first round over. I'm gonna open another container, and what matches that were. That was wicked. Wow. So thanks to Brian, Rolling Swarm, I actually have this nice little sheet where I can edit in all the results. And that will make it a lot easier to... It would help if the program would open. To keep track of the points that every team has. And that was just... I love that. That was cool. I hope we get to see more matches like that. Because this is not how we expected things to go. Not necessarily for the wins, but just the way that they played. I loved it. That was just awesome. So now we have Feast that lost... Well, that didn't get a point. And NUB that has a point. And so next up we will have Feast versus... What did I say again? I'm terrible at this. Let's see. Versus X-Range. And let's also see how the other teams are doing. We have TNM that has a point. And they won versus ID and 3-0 at that. What the hell was going on there? That is another one of those, you don't see that coming. You don't expect it. So that is actually quite epic. And let's see, what else have we got? We have low. We don't know what happened there yet. They don't know what happened there yet either. And 101st AD. Do we know what happened there yet? Nope, we don't. But now I'm extra curious again about TNM. TNMM? Yes, I just said it right. Because that is cool. And I keep thinking about them as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because of the letters. I can't help that. Even though I know that that is not what the clan stands for. But that was cool. Those were fun matches. Let's see. How long do we have? Oh, wrong one. How long do we have until the next match? And that will give Feast some time to regroup themselves. It would help if this loaded, because then I could see. at 45. That means we have about 20 minutes. That means that I'm gonna show you some replays. And let's go. There we go. Let's see. I already showed a few of these. There we go. Let's go with this one first. This is a game that I got sent by a friend of a friend. And it's supposedly epic, so I'm very curious to see what will happen and how that will go. But if you do manage to do epically enough to get an ace in the Dracula, it has to be epic indeed. And I got permission to show this. It was shown apparently on another YouTube channel without permission. But yeah, he was all for me showing it, and I'm gonna do that live on stream. So we have him playing pretty aggressively, but at the same time he is top tier and he is the Dracula at that. Seeing someone go into the town, but he's not been spotted yet himself. That's a clever move. And waiting for his team to come, but there's pretty much no one there for them. With T29, that is showing a nice little bit of bum. Now the Dracula has been spotted, so he has to be careful, because at the same time he is a Dracula, so anything that basically shoots him pretty much pens him. And we're gonna see what happens here. We have the AMX that is in a lot of trouble, especially since he's out of a clip. And we have the Dracula is ramming people, and that's one way to do it. I think he was going to go for another ram. And he's actually taking some hits for his AMX friend, which I think is a nice call. And now we have the small tomb that is entering the fray. The AMX died after all. And we have a nice corpse of a tank in between. And the small tomb missing definitely helps. Honestly, I adore the Dracula, but the lack of armor can make it a little bit hard. Now he just needs one more shot. He is careful about that corpse there. And... ooh, low roll. Let's see. And there we go. Another kill for the Dracula. And we see in the town, we see the Tiger P. We see pretty aggressive jumping and driving by this Dracula. And there goes another kill. That is like basically a free kill. We have the Arl that is over there, that is just asking for shots in the bum. We have the Tiger P. That is all the way at the back. You can't shoot him yet. And the Arl is slowly turning within the sights of the Dracula, which is not something I can advise you to do. And now it's 3 versus 3, can go either way. And the AMX wants to have everyone reported, which is like so useful, even though he went completely YOLO in the beginning himself. That was a big hit. And that was too hasty a shot, that didn't go well. And we have the last 2 remaining teammates, which aren't that heavily armored. Being a bit YOLO here. We have the Dracula that is again driving quite aggressively. You know that can damage you, right? But he is making a nice peek here. And he is going to kill that R now. Nicely done. 4 kills so far. 3 versus 2. But lightly armored. And low on HP. And the AMX is again asking everyone to report all stars. Not sure how do you report stars though, to be honest, but yeah. Whatever floats your boats, I suppose. I always find it very peculiar when someone starts talking like that. Because it doesn't really help anyone. I think that ram definitely cost him. And now we just have the Tiger P versus the Small Tomb and the Dracula. But again, very low HP. Unaimed shot did not go well. Oh, now he can also provide compliments. That's nice. Small Tomb is not going to survive this. But he did track the tiger, and this is something that I disagree with. He could have done that better. He could have started circling. Not sure what he's gonna do now. He's just driving away, I think. Tiger B is also driving away. I wonder if people realize that when you're chatting like this can actually be so distracting. Nicely done. He just has to play very carefully. He has 2 minutes though, so there's not really any rush. But he just has to avoid getting shot at all. But I like him driving away, pretending he's going elsewhere, waiting to get unspotted, and then just going back. And in this case, I would be in sniper mode, because I would want to make sure that any shot that I take will pen, and not like this. But this is lucky. But the Tiger P is definitely waiting for him now, and he has to aim carefully, and he doesn't really have the HP to aim carefully. Congratulations, closer. I like the keyboard of this AMX. And again, hun, you need to aim. Aiming helps so much. But he has near 4k damage in a Dracula, which is good. He has 5 kills already. Come on, Dracula. I love this. This is not just when you're in a one-on-one situation or anything like that. Yeah, he knows, he knows. Not just in a one-on-one situation, but generally, you have to just reposition yourself. Be careful. Don't do anything wild. Nice. Now you just need, well, a little bit more of a high roll, preferably. HE, that was very tricky, but now he's definitely a one-shot, even with APCR. That's, in effect, that is tricky. Nicely done. 3.6k damage, 5 kills. Wow. And that AMX is salty as F. Very nicely done. Lovely battle. 4.1k damage. Oh, we saw some blind damage now, I think. I'm just posting the link again. We still have a bit of time. I'm not sure if I want to risk. It starts at 45, which means that in 10 minutes. I'm not gonna risk another game because I don't want to miss out on the room. But that was cool. So now we just wait, and we have this. I would like it actually if the what would show the amount of time that a match has taken, because that would help in determining whether or not I can play it or not. But generally, aces are not short games. So we are just gonna wait and wait for the room. In the meantime, I'm gonna see. I did mention the maps before, but I'm gonna look them up and I'm gonna show you them. In 5 minutes we will have a room. We have feast here, matches. I will be doing this a lot because I'm epically good at forgetting everything. I'm very bad at names, especially right now. I have some concentration problems, and those haven't been fixed yet medically. So we have Castilla, Main Ruins, and Port Bay. So we start with Castilla. Castilla is not one of my favorite maps, but it is an interesting map to see. This is Castilla. We have 3 bases. We have base A, which is the mad base B in the middle, and base C that is sort of no one's base because you don't want to get seen there because it's so open to shots from pretty much every side of the battle. You just want to avoid that altogether. Base B, sort of similar. You do want to cap that, but you want to cap that when you know where the enemy is, so that you know how to position your tanks without getting shot to hell. And base A for me is always the base to go to, and that has mostly to do with the fact that it's a bit more secluded. It's a lot harder to hit. But for me, the south spawn is more strong at base A than the north spawn. At the same time, it is easier from the north spawn to go to A and then go up to the citadel and decap anyone that wants to cap base B. So it is an interesting map. People seem to do weird things here, especially in randoms, but this is literally a team match. So it will be cool to see where they go, what they do, and all of that. But that's the same thing for pretty much every map. But for me, base A, or at least that side of the map, all the way. And base C is best left alone. So after that we got Castilla and Ruins. Let me see where I left that one. I know I have it somewhere. I think. There it is. This is Castilla and Ruins. You have base A, which is the heavy side, base B that is in the middle, and base C on the med side. Base B, if you can cap it, it's pretty easy to hold and keep, but it's the capping it that makes it hard. It's pretty open. There's a lot of lines of fire in there from all kinds of directions, and that's why it's not really my favorite spot. Depending on what I drive, if I drive anything fast, I will want to go base C. If I drive anything really heavy, I want to go base A. There's a lot of side scraping positions near and at base A, which makes it interesting, and at the same time at base C you have a lot of little peek boom places that also make that interesting. So, and when it comes to team games, I've seen people go either which way, to be honest, just depending on the team lineup. And even when you have a team where you go, yeah, they're definitely going C, then they go A to throw off the enemy, and it's fun to see. So I'm gonna take this away as well. And then we still had Port Bay as a potential 5th map, and that is this one. I am not really a big fan of this map, but again, depending on where you go, you can get A and B or B and C. In my opinion, I generally go for B and C, and that is mostly to do with the fact that base C is the higher ground, and it's always easier to have the higher ground and to keep it than it is to have the lower ground and to keep that. So that's basically it for these maps. It will definitely depend on the lineup, and of course when you have 7 players that actually do something together and coordinate together and are on voice together, it can go every way basically on all the maps. So we just need to wait for that. Room invite should be coming pretty soon now. Yeah, in just under 1.5 minutes probably. And in the meantime, I am gonna take a little bit of a drink, because all this talking is thirsty business. Fun fact, by the way, I now have gold advertisement thingies on my EU account, but I lost them on my Asia account, because I have not watched 5 videos today on this account. I have no containers left, and this is basically, yeah, this is just me biding the time basically. We have a lot of tanks in store right now for gold, but the one that I want is not available for gold. You can only get it through crates, and crates suck. And those crates you can only buy with money and not with gold, which sucks even more. So I'm not a fan of those. If you want to send replays, there is a special channel for the spring season replays on my Discord server. Link is in the description of the video. And for sub replays, I only use wins and losses and draws, I mean. But for the replays that I show during the streams, I also use wins, but they have to be epic games. There is the room. Let's go. Let's ready up so that we can't forget. I think one of the things that will be a little bit difficult here is the fact that with the qualifying stage, people could use their own spectators to watch. Right now, though, that is no longer the case, so I'm the only one that can spectate for them. And that is, I think, a bit tricky, because if you're used to now commanding while spectating rather than while playing, that can make making calls a bit hard. So we still have 4 minutes and 15 seconds left to go. Feast has mostly readied up for Castilla and XR as well. Both teams only miss one tank now that has not yet readied up. And that might have to do with ammo loadout, camouflage or anything like that. And we see on Feast side, we now see 3 IS-4s, an E3, a 140, a Patton and a 268. Don't see the Patton much in tournament battles, but I think that it might potentially work really well on this map. But we're gonna see. And on the other side, on XR side, we see 4 IS-4s, 2 T-57 heavies and a Leo 1. Interesting lineup. Do often see the IS-4 gluttony, that's about every battle. But I don't often see the T-57 heavy. And okay, the Leo has now been exchanged for a 140, so that just matches the fact that I don't see the Leo more often used in this game, in these tournament matches that is. So we now have Feast that is pretty much ready. We have XR that is definitely ready. And we just have to wait another 3 minutes before we get to go. Would be cool to see how the T-57 heavies perform on this map. As far as autoloaders go, I much prefer it to the AMX-50B, but we see the AMX-50B a lot more during these matches than we do the T-57 heavy. And we just waiting, 2.5 minutes left to go. Everyone is ready, we're all ready to go, and I wish there was that button where they could just say, yeah, we're ready to go, and then we just go instead of wait. But no. I'm just gonna make sure that there is no map on the screen so that you can't be basically seeing like half a battle with the map there. But luckily that is not the case. And we will be going in 2 minutes. And I'm curious what they'll do with these lineups. Feast does have more speed, but the other loaders can pack such a wallop depending on their position and depending on whether or not they share a target basically. They can clip someone together, for sure. And especially if you choose a target that is a little bit juicy to shoot, like a Patton for instance. That Patton can be absolutely deleted. 1.5 minutes left to go. I'm also curious to see whether or not we're gonna see some nerfs for the IS-4 after this tournament because of the immense gluttony for it. I hope not, because I think it is a well-balanced tank. It's a strong tank and it does really well, but it does well in the right hands. And that's always the thing. It's the player that makes the tank, not the tank that makes the player. Just some tanks have all tanks have different issues and different pros. Like with the mouse, you get the massive armor, but you have a bit of a troll gun and you're very, very slow. Whereas with tanks like the Batchat, you have a very, very, very fast tank, but you have no armor. And it depends on whether a tank fits your playstyle or not, as to whether that works or not. 40 seconds left to go. And then we will see the next battle. And I can't wait. I just wish the time would pass a little bit faster in this case, because I just want to commentate on the matches and not just babble on about whatever fancies I got in my head to talk about, because we're all just waiting. And now we have 10 seconds left to go, and then we are ready. 6, 5, 4... and here we go! XR does not all use the Pro avatar. Some don't use an avatar at all by the looks of it. And there we go. We have Feast that is going mainly to the right, except for one lone E3 that's probably gonna overlook base C. Whereas we have XR that is going to go for base C altogether, and that could be very interesting, and that could be very bad news for that E3. We have the 140 that has not yet spotted anyone. He is holding back. He is overlooking base B. Now we have a spotted IS-4, but those on the ground have not been spotted. We have a T-57 Heavy that has been spotted, but only one of them. And we see the E3 that is now almost in position. But he can't really do much, and he is getting shot already, and XR is pushing straight away. The E3 managed to get a nice shot in, but he's not going to be able to survive that. We have the IS-4 that is sort of trying to support the E3 here, but there's not much they can do, except for hope that the E3 holds out for long. We have Feast that is flanking through. They are grabbing base B now. And we see some nice shots going into the tanks there, but that E3 is basically dead. Alpha is not going to survive this for long. He might get another shot in, which he does, but then it will be very hard for him to survive. Especially now. Ooh, there he goes. But it did cost XR quite a bit of HP. The T-57 Heavies are now getting hammered by shots. And we have the IS-4s that are flanking through to the spawn. And we have a 268 that already has an Object 140 over there with him, but he has some help. So hopefully that Object 140 is dying very, very quickly. And there he goes, but so does the Object 140 of the other side. HP-wise, Face is doing better, but they are lacking a gun. And this is not looking good for them. No bases have been captured. The 268 is still alive, but he's not going to be for long because that IS-4 is going to finish him off. He needs to get away, but he won't be able to. And now Feast is down with 3 guns, and XR lost 2. But HP-wise, Feast is still doing 3k better. So as long as they focus fire, as long as they manage to do this right, they might still win it. We have the Patton that is chasing a T-57 Heavy, but it is gonna cost him quite a bit of health, and that was very much luck for the Patton that shot missed. So now it's 4-4, but Feast has a very much bigger HP pool, and now it's 4-3, but one of the IS-4s is losing quite a bit of health. They are in very tricky positions here. We have 3 IS-4s that are in a good holding position, but Feast has the point advantage and they have a tank advantage. So if they don't really, if they focus fire, those 3 IS-3s might get quite far. But now we have the Pandas pushing up behind them, and now we have a crossfire. And there goes 1 IS-4. Now we have 2 left. I'm bringing you in a little bit closer now that there's just a relatively small part of the battle that we need to follow. And we have the Patton, basically a hero of the hour, that is flanking around. And even though I did talk about the Patton not being here much, he did very well this battle, flanking around and making some very key shots. That was a fun battle. So that is 1-0 for Feast. And we have another map. I'm gonna ready up so that I don't forget. And there we go. Feast is already pretty much ready. Ooh, an E5. I don't like the E5 all that much anymore since they removed the cupola, because it's a lot more boring to drive, but it's still a good tank. It's a great tank. And Feast is readied up with 2 IS-4s. Again, the Patton, the Batchat, E5, 268 and AMX 50B. XR is still discussing the lineup, I think, because some of them aren't ready. But so far we see 2 IS-4s, a 268, an E3, and 140, and potentially 2 more IS-4s. So we have less than a minute to go. Yuzuya just has to ready up, and then both teams are ready, but he still has about 45 seconds to do so. There's still some changes being made to whatever, but I think we have the definite lineup now. There we go. 4 IS-4s, 140, 268 and an E3. And 20 seconds left to go. And then we get to see the second battle of this matchup. And after that we're moving to a different map. And here we go. There's always this worry in my mind. Did I ready up right? Did I leave a map on the screen and all of that? And here we go. We have Feast primarily going to base A by the looks of it. With a Badger that is going to go and overlook base C. We see similar things happening on the other side, but then there's an E3, just like we saw the last match with Feast, going elsewhere. We have a 268 that is overlooking base C for any tank that the Badger spots. And this is an aggressive watch spotting thing to do, but no one's there yet, so he doesn't see anyone. And of course there are bushes. And no one has been spotted yet, but we see the 268 pushing quite aggressively and probably going up the hill, up to the Castilla, up to the Citadel. So that's going to be cool. And now the IS-4 has been spotted. We see some shots being taken already. And he's now clip reloading, not want to risk that last shot. We have a pattern that is going in the middle, cheekily. We have a blind shot going to where the E3 is, but it doesn't hit. And no one has kept the base yet. All the bases basically are defended and overlooked, so that will be hard. But Feast has a very, very slight HP advantage. Okay, now a little bit more. Now less. Okay, this is going up and down quite fast. We see some shots being taken. And the IS-4 is in a bit of a precarious position if he's getting shot like that. And the Batchat has now reloaded his Clippy. E3 has been spotted, but no shots being taken there. And the object behind him is still invisible. And it's a bit of a stalemate, not much happening. No one going into base B, no one going into base C. We have the Batchat that is getting shot at. The 140 is now making a move, which I think might be precarious because now he's been spotted. And ooh, there he goes. Massive shots into the Batchat there. Very tricky, very nicely done by XR. And we see the 140 that is holding the E3 that is pushing in, even though no one knows he's there yet. And the same stalemate happening at the Citadel as before. But not much is happening. They need to make a move. They need to grab a base. Because as it is, if the battle ends, then XR will get the point. At least, well, for this battle, that is not for the matchup. So we're just gonna have to wait, because this is pretty still game. This is one of the reasons that I'm not really keen on Castilla. We have the IS-4 that is making a cheeky push. They don't see each other just yet. Now they do. And that was basically the fact that he looked away cost him HP. The same now. Maddox is being a bit... Ooh, that was a nice shot through the buildings there. And Maddox wants that shot, but he has to be careful because he will pay for it if it doesn't pan. We have shots going in all over now. We have an IS-4 that is losing a lot of HP. We have Maddox that is getting shot quite badly. And there we go, the IS-4 near base B is not going to survive for much longer there. Unless he hides very effectively, which he's now doing. And we have XR that is now capping a base and grabbing an advantage. If they get away with it. But the IE-5 will lose quite a bit of HP if he wants to do this. And he's not really wanting to do this, so they don't. And that means that now... Ooh, Maddox. But the IS-4 is now dead. But with the base, that means that XR has an advantage. We now see Sleeping Lion that is hiding in a bush, but he spots the IS-4 there. We have the E5 that is doing pretty well here, trying to hold. But he has some friends behind him and he's just basically trying to lure them out. But he's not really getting away with anything. And they will need to grab a base if they want to make this work. Maddox is nearly dead now, and we have the 140 that's going to come up to kill him off. We can see that. Because that's basically an easy shot to get a gun out of the way. Maddox is turning, but there he goes. And that's the first gun out of the way from Feast. And with a base, XR is in trouble. And now XR does lose another gun. But they have the base as long as they survive. And especially now that they're capping a second base with the 140. We see Patton versus 140 now. And there was a tracking shot, but the L140 did lose quite a bit of HP for that. And the Patton just has to be very careful not to get shot like that. And he's gonna die now. I'm not sure if he's gonna make if he's gonna be able to outplay this. No, he's not. And still, XR holds the advantage. They need to make an aggressive push. They need to make this work. We have the IS-4 that is now very low on HP. But if they don't grab a base, if they don't grab base A specifically, but we're not going to see some clipping. Gonna bring you in a little bit closer for that. And there we go. Now they can. Now they're free to grab base A. Ooh, but the 268 there, I don't think. Ooh, that was a nice bounce. Wow. Very well bounced by the E5. That would have cost him very dearly. There we go. They have the base. Now they just need to survive. The IS-4 there is in a very bad position. And there he goes. It's 3 versus 3. 3 versus 2. But, ooh, that was a nice sneaky move by the Batchat there. But we have a pretty healthy E3 there. And a pretty healthy 268, but a low health AMX and an HE-able Batchat. But they will have the point advantage because by the time the E3 manages to cap base B, they will have more points. So they just need to survive. As long as they survive, they will be fine. And I think the Batchat is going to go around to see if he can grab base C. He is looking at base... I'm going to bring it in a little bit closer. Ooh! Oh my god, he's going to be hitting himself for missing that shot. That was an HE shot to the bum. But they already reached one. Oh my god, they ran out of time and Feast won because of points. But oh my god, that missed HE shot on the bum, that would have been like epic. But nope. Denied. So now we are moving to main runes. And again, this map I quite like. Castilla not so much, but this one I quite like because it's, I keep saying this, it's interesting, but it is. You can go so many different directions, so many different positions in this map. I love that. So we now have Feast already all ready with a 1, 2, 3, 4 IS-4s, a Batchat, an E3 and a mouse. And on the other side we see 3 IS-4s, a mouse, an E3 and 140 and potentially a 215B. A 215B is not the tank that I would choose on this map. And one of the IS-4s is being changed, or maybe not, or maybe it is, or maybe not. And a 113. Okay. I'm curious to see if they will use that 215B or not. That's not really... It can be a really great tank. But it's not really one that I would choose on this map. Because it can work very well in certain positions. I'm not sure it will work in enough positions. So... we are ready. We have 13 seconds left to go before we see the match. And here we go. Yes, I agree. Up, up and away. And we have the Batchat now moving. And he's going to be meeting on 140. And that can be difficult if he's going to go to C. Especially with the 113 and the E3 pushing right behind. But I think he's playing it cleverly and going to the middle there. And that means that Feast might start with the base less, basically. We have the 140 making a pretty aggressive push, but he can see that there's no one there. We see some shots being taken in the 113, but no damage being done yet. And Half decides to reload this clip and reposition himself. And now we have a base already in the hands of XR. And that means that Feast is already at a disadvantage. But we have the IS-4 that is going to go to the base A. We have a very cheeky cap potentially here by Frost. This is about the one position where you can cap, but you can still be HE'd. At the same time, you're costing your enemy shots with very little damage. So it doesn't... Ooh, that was... that was a lovely double tap. And we have a mouse versus mouse going on now. The IS-4 is holding in base B, but it's very tricky for him. And this will be fun to see, mouse versus mouse. Just gonna take you in a little bit closer so that we can watch that properly. He is angling, but the mouse has help. And now Rosario is not gonna be able to survive this for long. Why don't shoot HE at a mouse? But there he goes. And at the same time, Feast also capped base B. So now they have 2 bases and they took out 1 gun already. And we see XR now making quite an aggressive push. And they know that they have to win this if they want to get the points. So they can afford to be aggressive now. Because they don't really have much of a choice. E3 just shot, but did quite a bit of damage. We see massive amounts of damage being done. There's not really all that much focus fire, it appears. And ooh, that was a nice bounce by Sugu. And we have the IS-4 here that is basically getting shot from both sides. And Frost is not going to be able to survive for long. But we have the 215B now trying to hold against the mouse. And that is not going to go well for the 215B, I believe. But he is going to kill Frost most likely. He's waiting to shoot. He does miss though. So that is very lucky for Frost. And at the same time, we're missing a lot of action elsewhere. Because we have a Batchat versus an Object 140 at the back. And that is not looking good for the Batchat. But still, this is basically anyone's game. But Feast has the point advantage. And I think they're not going to give that away. We have... It's 4 versus 4. But we see the IS-4 here that is not going to live for long. He does get another shot. And that was a nice bounce. We have the mouse that is holding in base B. To avoid them getting it. And all they need to do is survive now, basically. They have the point advantage. They just need to work together. We have the mouse holding very well. He's doing pretty awesome this match. And we have the E3 versus the 268. And that can go either way. But the E3 is almost reloaded. Let's see what happens. Oh, it's the 140, sorry. But he is circling that E3 and there goes the E3. So now it's 3 versus 2. But the IS-4 here is not going to be able to hold that out for long. We have the 140 that is shooting the mouse now from the side. And he's holding very well, hiding very nicely. But Feast is already at 900 points almost. And they're not going to be able to give this. They're not going to give this away. There goes the Object 140 by a shot from the mouse. And now there's just 1 guy left. And they just need to aim carefully. And then that is not how you do that. Let's see. Almost that IS-4. Very nicely played. He still kills the mouse. That is a ram that didn't kill, but now the kill happened anyway. But kudos definitely to that mouse. Very nicely done. Very key, much of a key role, to be honest. And that means this game is Feast is 3-0, and that means that Feast gets the point. So that's very nicely done by Feast. Let's see. I'm just entering the whole thingy, the sheet that I got from Brian. So I just need to enter all the rest then. But overall, those were fun matches. I'm still pretty impressed by NUB and the way that they changed tactics and the way that they held. That was very nicely done. So we see now that Low won the last round. I'm just gonna check that. with 3-2 for his X-range. So that's low, that has a points. And X-rated does not. And let's see the next one. NUB boys we saw. We had TBT, that one. TBT won both against 101st and against TMNN. TNMN, yes. I keep wondering if I'm pronouncing that right, to be honest. Because that's not all that easy. Because of the whole thing that I have in my head. About the whole... Oh, I can't brain anymore, I'm sorry. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And they also went against 101st. So that's TBT with 2 points so far. Feast has 1. Let's see how ID did. Do we know yet about the second match? No, we don't. Still surprised about this though. Wondering what happened there. But like I said, you can afford to have a bit of an off day in these matches, in the round robins. I don't think I'm gonna wait for everyone to finish battling, because that's gonna be a very long wait. Or actually, no, I might actually do that, because I'm not sure if you've gotten all the coins yet that you can. So I'll show you a replay, and then we're gonna look at the rest of the rest. I'm just looking at what I want to show you. I've got quite a good choice now. There we go. Let's go for this one. And after that, we'll check the stats again. This is by my fellow clanmate and fellow contributor, Gentle Fun. He is French, and he makes French videos most often. But he is quite the epic player. So I'm happy to show him off on the stream. So here they go. Oh, he goes, to be honest. I like this camera, it looks sexy. I like that I'm already seeing this, and you're still seeing the actual matches that this stream is all about. A good thing to hold is not the position that I would choose, but I think that in this tank that would work better, because this is not a Russian tank, it's not a light tank, and it doesn't have all that much gun depression. Now he's basically rewarded for his patience, and his teammate is getting shot instead of him, so that's always a good thing. Nice free shot of damage there as he was putting back, showing his flank like that. And now he's moving forward, so I'm a big fan of that. We have the Batcha that is making a move. Nice, that was a trick shot. Shouldn't have banned, but it did. There goes a 1-2-1. That does do a little bit damage, didn't angle in, or at least probably angled too much too fast. Ooh, low roll, 3 HP left, are you kidding me? And there he goes. Both teams have lost 2 guns so far. And now Thibaut's team has 2 bases, the enemy has 1. And we'll see what happens. He's going straight for the motion, well, sort of straight. He's ignoring the grill there. I think he wants to grab the base. And I think that's a good call, especially since the motion is only a 2-shot. So that's definitely worth doing. And he can get a base in the meantime. Not sure what the Moiskin is doing here. He's basically literally lining himself up to get killed. Nice. And now it's 4 versus 3, so it's a bit intense. Now it's 3 versus 3, less intense. But they do have more HP by the looks of it. And they have all 3 bases, so they have all the advantages. Dude, you're serious, you're blocking your teammate's shot. I don't think he realizes that. And that's costing Thibaut some HP. That wasn't aimed enough. Bounces all around. No brain well gain. Okay. If you know that someone is reloading, you could take all the time you want trying to shoot them. Now the Batchat is just rushing in. Ramming speed. Worth it. This is nice. He's using the VK for cover. But it's not helping. Still though, that was pretty nice. That bounce, oh my god. But they have the bases. They're definitely gonna win this as long as they just survive. There's no telling if they will. But still. That was quite funny. Come on, E100. You can do it. Is he shooting HE? He is. But there we go. Nice ace, 4.3k damage. 4 kills, 1545 basic speed, 1k spotting damage, 424 supremacy points. Lovely. Okay, let's see the stats. That's definitely a good replay to end this this one with, isn't it? We have NUB boys that won, and they won against, well, Feast we know, and against ID. What is going on with ID? Did not see this coming. But very well, at the same time, NUB has been playing very nicely. So well done to NUB. And 101st has won against Low. Low won against XR. But 101st wins against Low. Okay. So I think that's it. Oh, wait. Too fast. So we should have 8 points, which we do. So that is it for tonight. We know all the stands. This is the stands right now. Tomorrow I'm going to be streaming the second 2 matchups, I should say, of Feast. And that means that tomorrow you get to see and enjoy Feast against 101st and Feast against TNM. I'm very curious about that one. I want to see that for sure. And they're also starting on pretty much my favorite map of the whole game, Canal. So that should be fun. I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you guys had fun. I hope you guys had fun watching me stream this all and everything. I hope you guys got coins. And I'll be seeing you guys, well, tonight I'm streaming EU at 8 PM CEST. And tonight, in the middle of the night, I'm streaming Murica. And after that, at 1 PM my time CEST, I'll be streaming Asia again. So again, thank you all for watching. Have a good day and hopefully see you tonight and otherwise see you tomorrow. Bye bye!